Can we verify this, please? We just got in the middle of the theme as we were preparing for the Carly Fiorina interview. In the middle of the theme, they called to say we need to reschedule. Well, that's really not convenient for us at this juncture. But we appreciate it.
That is what it looks like that is true. So hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Wait a minute. Hang on just a second. Carly Fiorina is on the line now?
Nice.
She doesn't have to reschedule. Apparently.
She doesn't
Hello.
need to reschedule. Okay. Hello, Carly. How are you?
I'm great, Glenn. How are you doing?
Very good. We thought you were having to reschedule. We're glad to have you.
No. I am here. I just walked out of a meeting to speak with you.
Okay, great. I hope it wasn't an important meeting.
No,
Because we're not
you're
important.
No,
No,
you're
okay.
important.
All
No
right.
worries.
All right, good. So, tell me, first of all, we want to start. We were talking about California just a few minutes ago and this water situation. And in particular, the fact that the almond growers are using more water for the almonds than California and San Francisco residents and businesses combined. What free market principle would allow things to change without fines for people's showers?
You know, the tragedy of this, Glenn, is with different policies over the last 20 years, all of this could be avoided. That's the tragedy of California. Because of liberal environmentalist insistence, despite the fact that California has suffered from droughts for millennia, liberal environmentalists have prevented the building of a single new reservoir or a single new water conveyance system over decades during a period in which California's population has doubled. And so the consequence of that is that 70% of the rainfall washes out to sea in California year after year after year. And so there is a man-made lack of water in California.
Okay, so how come that?
Government in Washington manages the water for the farmers.
How is it possible that we don't hear that story on the news at all?
Isn't that interesting? You know, Glenn, you will remember that you and I chatted when I was running for the Senate in California in 2010, and I talked about this water situation through that entire Senate campaign. It is a man-made disaster. This California is the classic case of liberals being willing to sacrifice other people's lives and livelihoods at the altar of their ideology. It is a tragedy. And you have agricultural land in California, the most productive agricultural land in the world has been destroyed. And by the way, President Obama goes out to California a little over a year ago, calls it a tragedy of global warming, and hands out money to a food bank. This is all about politics and policy, and it is liberal environmentalists that have brought us this tragedy.
So as I drive down in the farming section, the Central Valley there in California, as I'm driving through there, I see these farms that are just becoming wasteland. And there are signs everywhere. This is Congress, this is Congress, this is Congress. What should Congress be doing?
Well, you know, it's interesting. So on top of the environmentalists saying that they can't build any new water storage or conveyance facilities, in the late 2000s, Congress also weighed in, specifically Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein, and environmentalists, and said, you know, in addition to all of that, we're going to protect a fish called the smelt. And that permitted Washington to manage the little bit of water that those farmers had, literally. So it's Washington that determines that farmers only get 10% of their allocation, all to protect the fish. You know, in California, fish and frogs and flies are really important, far more important, apparently, than the 40% unemployment rates in certain parts of the Central Valley. So the Senate and the president could waive some of those water restrictions. They have been asked to do so, and they've refused to do so.
Carly, what is the biggest problem in the United States? If you could only wave a wand and cure one thing, what would it be?
Government has grown so huge, so powerful, so costly, so complex. It is literally crushing the life out of this country. It's crushing small and family-owned businesses, which are the economic engine of our nation. It is crushing possibilities out of people's lives by entangling them in a web of dependence from which they cannot escape. The weight, the cost, and the power of government are literally crushing the potential of the nation. We absolutely must get government under control, which means reducing its size and its power and its complexity in really fundamental ways. And that is why I am seriously considering running for president, and will make a final decision, over the next month or so, because I have come to the point of view that too many politicians have been captured in this system for too long, and they no longer see what needs to be done.
So I was never a guy that believed that I'm a business guy, and I believe in the entrepreneur, I believe in small business, and I believe in big business. Until I saw what businesses are now doing, the General Motors and the GEs of the world, these big businesses are indeed using the federal government to crush anybody else. Google meets with the White House once a week. Now, I don't have a problem with Google. I don't have a problem with these companies when they're by themselves. But as they begin to collude with government, it's a really bad thing. Where do you stand with the big businesses and the way it's being done with both the Republicans and the Democrats?
Well, that's right. It's called crony capitalism. Our government is so big that only the big, the powerful, the wealthy, and the well-connected can deal with it. And so you're exactly right. Big government and big business enable each other. Every time big government passes a new set of complex regulations, the big get bigger and the small get crushed. So when Dodd-Frank was passed, 10 Wall Street firms became 5 Wall Street firms. And meanwhile, 3,000 community banks have gone out of business. Big government and big business are intertwined. The FCC just published 400 pages of regulations. They're now going to regulate the Internet. And who was it who was in there helping the FCC write it? Google, Verizon, all the big guys. The only way to deal with this is to cut government back down to size, to begin to repeal so many of these things, to disentangle the complexity. The only way to level the playing field again is to vastly simplify and reduce the size of government.
So we're talking to Carly Fiorina, and she's thinking about running for president. And, anybody who knows your resume, former CEO of Hewlett Packard is the latest, but you don't have a problem with you as a business person, and it's going to take somebody who is business-minded to be able to put this country back on track. However, we're also dealing with things that are happening overseas, and it seems to me that there's almost no one in Washington that is willing to say the tough things and do the tough things. We are dealing with an enemy that is very reminiscent to the National Socialists from Germany. 2 years ago, there were 1.6 million Christians in Iraq. There are now less than 400,000 of them left. There's a genocide going on of Christians around the world. Kenya was the latest this weekend. How would you deal with them?
Well, you are right. When America isn't leading, and you lead in part through moral clarity, the world is a far more dangerous and tragic place.
So give me the moral clarity that we're missing. The moral
clarity is that there is a religious war going on. So we have a evil enemy in ISIS. We also have an adversary in Iran. Of course, they are a different sect of Islam, but the point is that we have people who are now slaughtering in the name of religion, and we need to be able to say that. Just as the president of Egypt was clear when following the beheading of those 21 Coptic Christians, he went to the imams in the heart of Cairo and said what needed to be said, that this is a cancer in the heart of Islam, whether it's Sunni or Shia. This is a cancer in the heart of Islam that needs to be rooted out. I have been in and around the world for 25 years. I know most of the world leaders on the stage today. I think that's important. I remember sitting in Bibi Netanyahu's office 5 years ago. It was a private meeting. There was no press. There was no election. And 5 years ago, Bibi Netanyahu was talking about the danger that Iran represents. We have real enemies in this world. Iran is our adversary and our enemy, and they have had a long-term strategy to destabilize the region through their proxies and to build nuclear capability. ISIS is our enemy. Vladimir Putin is our enemy. I have met Vladimir Putin. He is a formidable adversary. And when we do not confront our adversaries and stand with our allies, the world is a very dangerous place. That doesn't always mean rushing off to war. There are so many things our allies have asked us to do to help them, and we're not doing them. So we're not arming the Kurds, and we're not standing with the Egyptians. We're not providing to the Jordanians bombs and materiel as they've asked us to. We're not arming the Ukrainians. We're not standing up for the Baltic states. There are a whole set of things we're not doing. We're still talking to Iran, despite Bibi Netanyahu's desperate pleas for us to stop talking to Iran. There are many things we could be doing that would make the situation better, that would help support our allies to defeat our enemies, but we are doing just the opposite.
Carly, I hate to say this, but we're out of time. But I'd love to have you back. There's a lot to discuss with you, and these were all great answers. Thank you so much. She's got a new book coming out at the beginning of next month called Rising to the Challenge. Carly Fiorina, My Leadership Journey. I would love to talk to you in depth some more, especially on one of your chapters entitled A Soul Intact. It's exactly what I always ask all of them. How's your soul? And I'd love to hear your answer to that. Carly, thank you so much.
Thank you, Glenn, for having me, and I'll look forward to talking with you again.
God bless. Bye-bye. What do you think?
I liked her.
I liked her a lot.
I mean, we didn't get to where she is ideologically, but
No.
I liked what she said about the. I mean, she's right.
She's
right about the California thing for sure.
Not on the Vladimir Putin thing. We reset that relationship. She wasn't.
Oh, that's right.
aware of
That's
that.
right. I forgot about that. Oh, that was a good first interview for a possible candidate. Like to have her on. She didn't say anything that pissed me off, which is unusual. Mm-hmm. We were just talking during the break that I think, if you want to think like a traditional pollster or strategist, you would say Marco Rubio, Carly Fiorina.
Yeah.
First Hispanic, first woman, Florida and California. Young team.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's good.
Pretty good.
She's good. She certainly knows that water issue pretty well. I mean, 70% of the rainwater rolls into the ocean, and we're talking about
unbelievable.
That's a great,
I've never heard that stat before.
Yeah, that's a great
7%
because
of rainwater lost.
They won't build any new reservoirs.
Jeez.
I mean, that's typical. I mean, it's so explains the entire thing.
Mm-hmm. So typical California.
So EPA.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just buy our waters elsewhere. Well,
yeah. And, when you have a doubling of the population, you may need some more resources. And that's where these EPA arguments constantly bite people. I mean, this is your future if you listen to these people.
Californians have, in large measure, brought this on themselves with their stupid votes. You keep voting for these morons, these lame brains, who bring these policies to bear on the state.
Yeah, it's really bad because I feel bad for the
benefit.
Central Valley because the farmers are not at fault here.
No.
The Central Valley is the one getting hammered, and they're not voting that way. They just don't vote that way. But the rest of California does because they think food just magically appears. Water just comes out of the faucet. Electricity just comes out of the wall. What?
Yeah.
These dummies.